The first thing that you should not feel guilty at all is making a decision. Listen to how Bree talks about feeling comfortable with making mistakes.
Best person that I can be and using this platform for as much good as I can, but it doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes, but I'm very comfortable with that and allowing myself to learn from those mistakes.
Hindsight is always 20/20, so it's always very easy for you to look back and say, man, I could have done that better. But the reality is, at that moment, you have made the best decision that you can with what you have. Look at Bree giving what she have at all these different auditions.
The movies that I didn't get, Sucker Punch, Gulliver's Travels, Mars Needs Moms. It's kind of a funny story. Lightning Thief.
Actually, just by the fact that you're able to look back and say, I would have done that differently, it means that you have matured and isn't the same person anymore. So focus on celebrating your growth rather than dwelling in your regret and guilt. If you're enjoying this, give us a like. The next thing you shouldn't be too guilty of, which I mentioned a little bit, is about your mistakes. Look at this awkward interaction by Bree.
Finding our way, but it was a good group of people to figure it out with, right guys?
Yeah.
Isn't it fun being there for all my extra takes?
Trained you up for the apprenticeship.
She obviously did something that others didn't really appreciate. And we all make mistakes. And if you really did make a mistake, own up to it. Just don't dwell on the guilt. In this next example, she technically didn't say anything that's wrong, but it definitely stepped on some people's toes.
I do all my stunts.
I did my stunts because I thought that that's what everyone did. And then
Tom Cruise over here?
No, I'll be the first me, not the next Tom Cruise. Thank you very much.
So while she did make mistakes, one thing she did really well is not letting that guilt influence her future decisions, which is what we want to focus on. Next is not apologizing for not going along with other people. But do be careful with this one. In this example, people kind of expect you to speak well of others, but she took more of a neutral and possibly truer stance.
Press people are like, who gave you advice? I'm like, we're not really like an advice industry. We don't like sit around and be like, let me tell you something about this. Usually like, we're playing Boggle. We are not.
You shouldn't feel guilty for not going along with the expectation of the people that are around you, because this is your life. But if you do this too much, you will create tension in your relationships, like this.
We're just about to do that big fancy movie, Captain America, right? Or
Marvel.
what- Exactly. Captain Marvel.
Thanks so much. I don't know if that was a joke or not. It's hard
Remember
to tell.
Next is saying no at any time, even without reasons or explanations. Listen to how Bree didn't actually answer the host's question.
Quality work.
What kind of name is that for a child to...
It was a fake commercial for Jay Leno. I love my look. I kind of want.
While saying no will feel confrontational at times, but you should not feel guilty for drawing a boundary when it's making you feel uncomfortable. Here's another example.
Who does Brie Larson look like? I mean, why? Who is Brie Larson's son?
But again, if you do this too much or you're not careful, it can come off as very dismissive. Or you can also use silence, which I talk about in a different video. Last is you shouldn't feel guilty for wanting your own mental space. Everyone around you always have an agenda for your life, so you have to understand what you are comfortable with. Listen to her understanding of herself and what she is willing to turn down.
Always has been like this, and it's part of why like I was broke all the time, was because I couldn't multitask. If I'm on a job and I'm playing a character, I can't self-tape. I can't do anything else. I can only do like...
If you know your own needs, don't be afraid to turn someone down and feel guilty about it if that person has overstepped the boundaries. I hope you enjoy this, and it does take time for you to kind of adjust to any habits regarding with guilt. And I will talk to you next time.